How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Bengals football back in action, losing to the Philadelphia Eagles 34-27 in their first preseason game of the 2025 season. A lot to take from this one. A couple key things for me to take for this one. First of all, Joe Burrow, average night from the man himself, average night, he says, 9 of 10, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns, dang near perfect. Offense looks to be clicking and looks just as good as it ever has been 1 week into the season. It's got a lot of people already questioning, hey, do we even need to see Joe Burrow in week 2? Because he is looking more than fine. And to answer that question, absolutely. Yeah, he's going to play. First of all, you got an offensive line that is very green. Not a lot of chemistry. Dylan Fairchild, by the way, this game, Pro Football Focus had him graded as the Bengals' best offensive lineman in this game, and he did have some bright spots in this football game, and you love to see that because you know the guard position is a big battle. You're trying to figure out who can be your 2 starting guards this season. You want to at least shore up one side of the offensive line. If you can shore up 4 or 5, then you can say, okay, how can we support the 5th man? So that is good to see them trekking in that direction. But it's so important because you want this offensive line. You want your starters out there every single day trying to build that chemistry so they are prepared week 1. You want your regular everyday play caller back there screaming out the calls, letting you know where the the protection, letting you know where the blitz are coming from. You want to get used to your everyday play caller, what it's going to be like with seeing the field, how he sees the field day in and day out. That's important. Number 2, again, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, stellar. Seeing a lot of Chase Brown in this one. Behind with the run game, catching out of the backfield, Chase Brown impressing early. I still think once again, it's hard to believe, his role can increase just because of, best offense in the league last season. Not to brag. But it's hard to believe his role could expand, but it really can with how much they get him involved, especially if he improves in a pass protection game. Plays stellar. Joe Burrow, again, that Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase pass. Whew. Little toe tap falling out of bounds. Gave me some a reminiscence of the one and only Chad Johnson with the Bengals. 9 of 10. What was the one incompletion, though? Wide open, 2nd and 5. T. Higgins, really, he should have caught it. Was behind him. Wasn't the greatest of throws, but at the end of the day, it was a misplay. And there's a lot of, you don't want to dwell on the one bad play at all. But that one bad play, first game of the season's huge. Because now you're not playing the team's number 2s. Now you had 2nd and 5. Maybe it was 2nd and 6 because, well, you're playing the team's number 1s. Maybe it was a 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7 off the first play. Now it's 3rd down because you just had an offensive miscue. What do you think happens knowing the Cincinnati Bengals being 1-11 to start the season? They have a miscue on 2nd down. What do you think happens to team morale? What do you think happens to the momentum of this football team, of this offense when that happens? Great chance. A lot of pressure comes. Joe Burrow gets hit. 3rd down. Punt the football. 4th down, I should say. Punt the football. Eagles get the ball. Now your defense struggles. And it's 7-0. Now the pressure's on the offense very easily. Maybe they punt again. And now all of a sudden, the nerves. You start to think about the past. The angst start to really, really elevate. That's why you play the preseason game. Because now you're avoiding that. A little play like that in preseason seems meaningless because you're playing a 2nd string because it's the preseason. But in a regular season, it is little plays like that that has sent the Bengals sideways early in the season. It is the little miscues. It's the little mistakes that add up. The team usually, even against the Patriots, for the most part last season, it felt like the Bengals offense was doing all right. It was just the little mistakes. The turnovers. Holding onto the football. The drops. Whether it be, again, Patrick with the penalty in the red zone. Bengals still found a way to score, but those little mistakes, drive killers in the regular season, when teams are ready to play, when teams are prepared, those are drive killers. You get those out of the way in the preseason so you can watch the tape, so you can learn, so you can improve. You play Joe Burrow next week just as much as you planned him, in my opinion. That's exactly why. It was never about Joe Burrow. We knew Joe Burrow was that guy. Of course, he's got to knock some rust off on that, a pass or 2 here. We ain't worried about that. It's the rest of the team. And you want your leader back there. You want the rest of the team getting comfortable with your leader back there as soon as possible. Now let's talk about the defense. Well, it wasn't good. Let's talk about the kicker. Now we go back to the defense. 34 points. Second most yards the Bengals defense has allowed in a preseason game under Zach Taylor. And there's already, understandably so, a lot of panic. We've seen, Shamar Stewart blow a couple plays up. We also seen him have a couple duds out there. But we also have to remember, no BJ Hill, no Trey Hendrickson, missing guys in the secondary. As much as you did see some number ones, you missed a lot of number ones. As much as they did get beaten up and down the field by the Eagles number twos, we have to remember the Eagles number twos. I hate to say it, and we're probably embellishing. Might be better than that Patriots team we seen to start week 1 last season. The Eagles are the best coached team in the league. Frankly, I get it. It's number 2. It's preseason, but they're going to find a way. Their system is top notch. They're going to find a way to put points on the board. But more importantly, I think trying to look for the little things here. We're trying to look at what some of these young players are doing, some of the flashy plays, just some stuff that they do well, that can earn them a spot in this roster, that earn them more reps, but also use it as a learning experience on plays they may not have did so well. Situations they can improve on. This is a learning experience for the Bengals. If we thought that Al Golden was going to come in here, anybody, give me the best defensive coordinator in the league, give me the best coach in the league. If you thought Spags was going to come in here week 1 and have this historically bad Cincinnati Bengals defense shutting down the Philadelphia Eagles week 1 of the preseason, that would have been impressive, to say the very least. We gotta remember, it's week 1 of the preseason. Yeah, we're seeing live football game action. Yeah, it hurts to see your defense get throttled by a bunch of second and third stringers. But this was a historically bad defense last season. You have a new coach who has literally had not even 3 weeks. I mean, unless the Bengals defense was running 11 on 11s in Golden's backyard and we didn't know about it, that he's had 3 weeks to whip this team into shape. 3 weeks. Think about that. And that's not a long time to get them to playing his style of football. The first 2 weeks might have been them just implementing his scheme, his system. We have to remember, not only is it a new coaching staff trying to bring in, trying to get the best out of his players, trying to make them better players, but it's also bringing in what he wants to do as a coordinator with the type of system he wants. So these guys are learning a lot in a small amount of time. And that's why you still look and say, hey, they still have 3-4 more weeks to, I guess you won't say 4, but you still have, what is that? The beginning of September. You got about a month. Yeah, you got about a month to really figure it out. And even then, as long as they're playing better than they was at the start of last season, and you got another 4, you got another 6, you got another 8. That's why you see a lot of teams play their best football halfway through the season, because that's when the good coaches start to stand out. That's when the teams with good chemistry start to stand out, because things start to click. Things start to really, really come together. So for me, I'm not worried about how the Bengals defense played in this game. It wasn't the prettiest. I understand that. But we also have to understand that Al Golden was going to come in here day 1, turn things around, and just have this team playing top 5 defense. Well, we'd be happy with top 15. Obviously, the pass rush wasn't there. We, again, kind of expected it. Trey Hendrickson was there. Trey Hendrickson was there, and he was very vocal throughout the game. And again, I praise Hendrickson through and through for this, because he does not have to do that. I've been telling people, I said, you want to gain leverage in the NFL? You want to gain leverage in the workplace? Make yourself unreplaceable. Because you can do just about anything you want. I shouldn't say just about, but you know what I mean. If you have a great work ethic and you're a good worker and you go into that business every day and you know how much they appreciate you, and they know, like, hey, if this man comes in here or this woman comes in here and asks for a day off, or they need a favor today, like, there's a good chance that they're going to come through with that, compared to somebody that just calls into work and cries and complains because they're not getting what they want. And Trey Hendrickson exemplifying that in the biggest of ways, because not only is he one of the best predominant pass rushers in the league, he is now saying, hey, I am willing to be a teacher. I am willing to be a mentor. And I want you to look every single day at how bad this defensive pass rush unit is. And I want you to look every single day and say, the very best option you have right now as far as teaching these guys the mechanics, the skills of the game, the nuances, what it takes to be an elite pass rusher is right here. Just give me the guaranteed money. So good on Trey for being there. I do really appreciate Trey Hendrickson. You see him on the sideline being vocal, trying to help these guys. Good on him. We'll see what happens. We're 1 week into the preseason. No reason at all to panic. Love the thoughts. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.